Welcome to Ref Sports. It is the start of the second ODI between India and Australia. In the first ODI, we saw records galore as India posed the highest ever total against Australia in ODIs. But Australia, being Australia, chased down the second highest successful chase in ODIs. But before we get to all of that discussion, before we get to all the debutants and the exciting team lineup that India has, I'm going to introduce my guests. We have Trisha Ghoshal, Ishan Shahane joining from the Wankhede Stadium. He'll be giving us all the updates from Ground Zero, and Joydeep Mukherjee. Starting off the show, Ishan, what are you looking forward to in this match after that performance in the first ODI?
So Gagi, the first performance was actually very good. It was unfortunate because the Aussies, just outclassed us. But overall, I think it was a good team performance by the Indian side. Today's an opportunity for them to again, get that momentum going because we have to point out here they've been playing good cricket. So one game doesn't make you a bad side, right? So I think the momentum will be with them. Unfortunately, they did not go on to win that first game, but I think it's a much win game for them because this is the only way they can tie the series and go on and play the third ODI. So a lot of expectations, a lot of pressure, but this is a quality side, and they're used to the conditions, Gagi. So I think the Indians will back themselves here as well. The Aussies will have the momentum because a big win. Chasing down that total is not easy. It's a massive, massive total, and they chase it down. That partnership is built. So kudos to them, but it's going to be a good game of cricket for sure.
Absolutely. Like Ishan said, the Australians did chase down the target, but the Indian team should get a lot of confidence from their performance in the first ODI. And here's a little package looking back to that Records Golo match. In a historic showdown at Mumbai's Wankhede Stadium, records stumbled as India set a formidable total of 282 for 8 against Australia in the opening match of their three-game women's ODI series. The absence of Smriti Mandhana, a stalwart with an impressive ODI record against Australia, posed a challenge for India. Nevertheless, the team showcased resilience, achieving their highest score against Australia. The innings marked the sixth highest total by any team against Australia. Additionally, it became India's third highest total on home soil. A remarkable feat unfolded as 6 Indian players reached the 20-run mark in this innings, marking a record for the team in this format. At 182 for 7, India faced a challenging situation, but a spectacular partnership between Jemima Rodriguez, 82 in 77 balls, Pooja Vastrukar, 62 not out in 46, and Renuka Singh Thakur, 5 not out in 5 balls, added a crucial 100 runs for the 8th and 9th wickets. This stands as the second highest run contribution for the 8th and 9th wickets in an innings. Vastrukar's unbeaten 62 not out set a new record as the highest score by a number 9 batter. This marked her second 50 from the number 9 position. She now also holds a unique distinction as the only batter with 4 50s from number 8 or below. Adding to her accolades, Vastrukar's scoring rate at 135 became the second fastest strike rate by an Indian at home while scoring a 50. However, the impressive total wasn't enough as Australia mounted a successful run chase, marking the highest against the women in blue. Elise Perry and Phoebe Litchfield played pivotal roles, securing victory for Australia inside 47 overs. Trisha and Joydeep, I'd like to ask this question to you. Even after putting on that performance, when we look back on the records of India and Australia, India has lost 41 out of the 51 ODIs that they have played together. Why has India not been able to take on teams like Australia, even at home? Joydeep, why don't you start?
Yeah, I think because they're a very strong side. I don't think they're a level playing field as far as one-day cricket is concerned. I think in the test match, which I watched from very close, the pitch was different. The pitch was a little non-Wankhede like. It had a bit of dust. I wouldn't say it was turning a lot, but the bounce was just not there. And anybody who has the first thing I think about Wankhede pitch is the bounce. That's the first thing it comes to my mind. And then if it's a good one, then good bounce. If it's turning, then it's awkward bounce. But the bounce is always there. So that is something that wasn't there. So that got to the Aussies. The moment you give them a normal Wankhede wicket, that is exactly what they want. I think they are a stronger side than us in every facet of the game. So them beating us is not a surprise. Uh, us beating them is more of a shock as far as one day cricket is concerned, because one day cricket is played on a really good wicket with two white balls, which means that these balls are not also getting old. So the spinners, the slower bowlers are not coming into play. Their batting is too strong. They bat too deep. They're a very, very strong side. So unless you play on a pitch which suits the Indian batters more and the Aussie batters less, and take a leaf out of what you did in the Test match, it'll always be an uphill task.
Trisha, your thoughts?
I think, yeah, in the white ball game is completely different, right? We have performed well only in the red ball games, because if you look back at the England tour, even there we lost the T20I series. Uh, in white ball, Australia has always been dominating, and it was no surprise that because if you look at their batting order, also Gargi, it's a set batting order. With us, if you see, especially the likes of Shafali, Herman, aren't really performing. Yes, we did get a big contribution from Jemima, and of course, I think Pooja, but in general, if you see, I think you will see they have a longer batting lineup. All of them can bat, all of them can bowl, so that variation is there. And I completely agree with Joydeep when he says that now the things have changed. You don't get a older ball because it's just 25 overs with each ball, so it is hard, it is new, uh, all the time. And I think that is where there is a bit of a problem, and we have always lacked, I think, also with the fielding part, because Aussies always save a lot of runs on the field. So overall, I think we are still at least two steps behind the Aussies in the white ball game. Absolutely.
And if I could just add to that, Trisha makes a great point. It's also their batters have more firepower than our batters, and their
Yes.
batters are more consistent than our batters. So that is a
Absolutely.
great combination to have. So firstly, they have more in the tank, and then do it more often. That's a great combination. You would want that anytime.
Exactly.
Yes, and today Shreyanka Patil is making her debut. Ishan, I think there's a little bit of a network issue, but Joydeep, Trisha, you can both talk about her.
Ishan is there.
Shreyanka, okay, there he is. You're on mute.
Yes, Gagi.
Ishan, talking about Shreyanka Patil, and she's making her debut today. You've seen her throughout the India A series. Talk about her.
Yeah, I think Gagi, she's someone that the team can really bank on. And she's obviously gotten better with time. And she's that sort of impact player that you want in your squad. So when you're playing a big team like Australia, who's a beast in the ODI format, you want someone like Shanka Patil who can, give out those match winning performances. So I think I've seen her in the recent past as well. And she seems like someone who's really growing in confidence. So the more, yeah.
Sorry to stop you there. If Trisha and Joydeep can confirm, there's a static noise with the audio.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
All right,
If you can,
let me
yeah,
just
yeah,
disconnect.
figure
Yeah.
that out, and then we can, talk
Yeah.
about it.
Then
Yeah.
Okay.
can I answer that?
Yes, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. So I saw Shanka Patil from very close. I was doing the India A series, and I thought she stood out. I think also in her interviews and everything else, she comes across as a very, very matured person. Also, much way beyond her age. Now she's an all-rounder. That's one of the biggest plus points of having an all-rounder is that you can do you're always contributing in the game, uh, in the first half and the second half. If you're only a batter or a bowler, then one half can become boring for you. So anybody who's an all-rounder is in the game all through the game. So I think the ball really comes out of the hand beautifully. She's got a beautiful release. I love the good releases. When I see somebody who has a good release and doesn't bowl enough, like a Shubman Gill in the men's game, I wonder why he doesn't bowl, because the ball comes out of so beautifully. It's technically so sound, biomechanically so good. Yet for some reason doesn't bowl as much as India would like to. Anyway, we'll keep that for another day. She's very, very good with the ball. She's still learning the trade with the bat. But also, the Aussies will come out hammer and tongs at her, knowing that she is a young player, finding her feet in international cricket. So they will come hard at her. And the Aussies are stronger, more athletic. I mean, if you see the Aussie team just take a run around the ground before the game, they look like the 800-meter Olympic. These are the girls who are there to run the 800-meter Olympics. That's their athleticism. Nobody's out of shape. Everybody's athletic. You can't pick out which one's who. I was looking for Ellis Perry, looking for Annabelle Sutherland. They all more or less are cut from the same cloth. They're all tall, they're all fit, they're all strong, they're all athletic. So that's a great package they have. This is like the 70s and 80s West Indies team. You know, I don't know how long they will be able to retain this. I hope they do, because this is special. When you have such athletic people, such people with such great skill sets, strong, everything going for them. So there will come a time when this 4-5 will go away, and time will tell how they get replaced. But West Indies have not been able to replace them, so we'll see what happens here.
Yes, and Trisha, you can answer this question. Snehashish Mukherjee has a question here. We have a comment. Taking wickets in the middle overs has been an issue. How Harmanpreet can manage that with all the available options?
Yeah, I think one of the bigger issues, I would say, which I saw in the last match, was when spinners were not getting the breakthroughs, because in our mind, it's the spin that bothers India. Sorry, that bothers Australia. So Harmanpreet kept persisting with spinners. I would say just mix and match, bring in a Renuka and see what happens, because I cannot stress more on the point that the ball still remains hard and new, so you can always get a Renuka in the middle over and try and stop the runs. The other part here, apart from bowling changes, I think Garge is important. That you have to stop the running between the wickets that easily for Australians, because they're going to tap and run, which is something we Indians don't do. And that's why, we are thinking if we stop the boundaries, that's enough. That will never be enough, because they will tap and run and just change the strike and be comfortable. That's why I think, getting the fielders a little more close, so that either they have to go for a lofted shot, and Harman's biggest thing would be she cannot wait for the Australians to make a mistake, because if we do that, then Australians are in fact batting first today. We are going to see something about 300 or 350. What we have to ideally do is, we have to stop them from rotating the strike, build the pressure, and then force them to do something and try and take the catches.
Yeah, just to
Yes,
answer Snehash's question, Gargi, I feel that your spinners in the middle have to take wickets. That's their job. If they bowl 10 overs for 45, that's not good enough. It has to be 10:54, 10:45 3, because that's when you're doing your job. Because of all the successful teams in the world, it's the ones that who uh, take wickets in the middle are the ones who win tournaments. Whether you do it with fast bowling, spin bowling, that depends upon your skill set, your strengths and weaknesses. If you take an Australian team, they'll find fast bowlers who come and take wickets in the middle. Stark coming back in the second spell and taking two. Josh Hazel would come and taking one. Pat Cummins would take one. That's their strength. Our strength, if we see the best Indian cricket we played, we would have Harbhajan Singh come and take wickets, Anil Kumble come and take wickets, Ashwin come and take wickets, Yajavendra Chahal come and take wickets. So if you don't take wickets, then these batters are scoring runs. And Trisha rightly pointed out, their athleticism is brilliant. We are not the most athletic side, so they'll play left of cover, right of cover. We can't get the single off them, but they get this off us. When
Exactly.
we played there, they are on the ball quicker. We are not athletic enough to go to the other end, so they're stopping the single. Yet when they bat, we are giving it to them.
hmm,
And this is not going to happen overnight. The Indian women's cricket has gone to a different level. I think with the WPL coming, the BCCI is in the right track. This is going to change, but it's going to take some time.
yeah. And when we look at this upward rise of women's cricket since the past few matches, when we talk about those two test matches, two players who have been very monumental in this are Indian all-rounders Deepti Sharma and Sneha Rana. What a comeback for both of them! Talk about Trisha. You've seen them very closely for all these years.
Well, Deepti Sharma, I like to call Deepti Sharma an utility player. Like, you put her in any position to bat, you put her in any position to bowl, be it death over, she'll do that for you. Even fielding, she'll get you run out from 25 yards, she'll get you run out from the boundary line as well. So I think Deepti is that perfect utility player. And Australians have those 11 utility players. We have one in Deepti. Sneha Rana is a fantastic bowler, but I
Yeah.
don't know. Recently, I have seen this Gargi. Either she doesn't concentrate too much on her batting, because let me remind you, in domestic, she's a fantastic batter. She's
Yes.
actually a very, very valuable player, and in fact, one of the most valuable players in the railway side, with her batting, with her bowling. with her leadership skills. But somehow, when it comes to the Indian team, I have seen there is a little bit of a problem with her batting. As far as bowling and fielding are concerned, that fantastic
Of
catch,
course.
Sneha Rana is another person who will give 500%. She'll do anything that she needs to do for the team, and um, she'll give her level best. So I'm actually glad that there have been a lot of debates when people have said, because that Deepthi probably is not as effective as she was, but the only problem that I see, and I would like to ask Joydeep about this. Joydeep, you spoke about our spinners not taking enough wickets. Do you also think that it is a case where we have um, too many off spinners?
Hmm.
Maybe we don't have variations enough, because we
Mhm.
have, after Punam Yadav, we have just not got a good leg spinner.
Yeah, that's a great point. You've taken the words out of my mouth. I think Saika had a tough day because they came hard at her, just like they will without Shanka. That's the done thing now. Anybody does it in any cricket that they do. They know he or she will be nerves. They know he or she will probably a little worry about a little bit. Oh, I'm bowling to Ellie Perry, and she'll latch onto you like anything. But yeah, see, that's where the leg spinners come in. After Poonam Yadav, nobody is there. Leg spinners have, firstly, they turn the ball more on any pitch than any other because of the wrist coming in. So they put a lot more in the ball than just the finger spinners. Then there are their variations. And sometimes they just get into the head of the batter. It's happened to me when I played Hirwani. He was bowling leg spin and googly. I thought he was bowling 7 balls, but he's only bowling 2 balls to me. But it is just that, just the way he'll get into your head. Shane Warne would land in England and say, I've got two special balls. He did nothing. He just wants to get into the head of the batter. And I'm thinking, and then you get out to a normal leg spin or get out to a normal googly. He's got 3 balls: the leg spin, the googly, and the flipper, which is the straighter one that slides through. 3 balls. But as a batter, I'm thinking he's got 7 balls. So I'm worrying about 7 balls and easily getting out to those three. That's where a leg spinner, a wicket taking leg spinner, I don't mind him. I don't mind him or her going at 5 or 7 and over. Give me 4 wickets. Because if you give me 4 wickets, then they're not getting 290, they're getting 230, and we can chase that down.
Absolutely. And we have something very special prepared for the two all-rounders because they have been monumental in the two test matches. Deepti Sharma, the player of the match in the England one-off test, and Sneha Rana, the player of the match in the Australia test. In recent times, the Indian women's cricket team has scripted two historic test victories against cricket powerhouses England and Australia, signaling a remarkable upward trajectory in the women's game. At the forefront of this rise are the instrumental all-rounders Deepti Sharma and Sneha Rana. In a resounding victory against England, India's all-rounder Deepti Sharma showcased her prowess with both bat and ball, leading India to a monumental 347-run win, marking the largest margin of victory in the women's cricket team's history. Deepti Sharma's stellar performance began with the bat, where she played a measured innings of 67 runs, stabilizing the Indian innings and steering the team to a commanding position. Switching gears seamlessly, Deepti Sharma then transitioned to bowling, claiming 5 crucial wickets to disrupt England's batting lineup. In the second innings, she continued her bowling brilliance, securing 4 more wickets and shattering the hopes of English cricketers. Remarkably, Deepti Sharma stood just 1 wicket away from matching the legendary Jhulan Goswami's 10-wicket record. Meanwhile, another crucial contributor to India's success was Sneha Rana, pivotal in the team's maiden test win against Australia. In the first innings, Rana claimed 3 wickets, dismissing notable names like Talia McGrath, Alana King and Lauren Cheadle. She followed up this impressive performance with a crucial 4-wicket haul in the second innings, accounting for Phoebe Litchfield, Elise Perry and more. Rana's journey is one of resilience and seizing opportunities, making a strong comeback in 2021 during a test match against England. She continued to prove her mettle. Despite missing the one-off test against Australia in 2021, Rana, after a couple of years, seized the moment and made a significant Okay, so Ishan, going back to you, we have to talk about, the back-to-back matches that we've had, and looking at the toll that it's taken on the Indian players. Jemima Rodriguez not fielding in the last game. Smriti Mandhana was unwell in the last game as well. She had to sit out. So back-to-back matches, is this a reflection of the fact that the fitness is not up to par, or is this a signal that the Indian women's cricket team is not playing enough cricket around the year?
I think, Gagi, to be fair, it's a mixture of both. But it would be unfair to say that they're not fit enough because these are professional cricketers themselves. So, sometimes issues like this can pop up. It's part of the game. You have to learn to deal with it. And I think we saw that in the last game as well. Smriti Mandhana, did not play. Yastika Bhatia came in and she did really well. So we always have options who are willing to step up and perform when it's needed. And when it's come, and if you speak about, they're not playing enough cricket, that's equally fair as well because I think women's cricket they have to start playing a lot more, and I think there's a difference between practicing and match practice. So I think a lot more match practice is needed where they're used to getting out on a daily basis, playing a lot more series, playing a lot more test matches, which is absolutely important.
Joydeep, your thoughts?
No, I think, with the WPL and everything, they're used to playing matches now. I think it's just a coincidence that, Smriti is unwell and Jemima might have picked up something while batting. She must have done
She was
something. So it's
dehydrated.
all, yeah, it's also very warm in Bombay, as you can see from Ishan. Last time I met him, his complexion has gone down 3 shades because of the amount of time he's spending in the sun. So it is very
Yeah,
warm over there. The 50 over game takes a lot out of you. In test matches, sometimes if you're feeling a little bit tired, you can take it easy for a couple of overs. You can refuse that odd single and you can say, I'm just gonna take it easy for a while till I get my mojo back, till the break, till I get a glass of water, till I get some energy drink into my body. In one day cricket, it's full on. And the 50 overs is a really long game, a 300 ball game. So I think he's just got to them, but I think they're used to it now. This Indian team, I met Coach Amol Majumdar and the support staff. They're ready for international cricket. Give them a year, give them 2 years, they'll compete with everybody. The skill set is as good as anybody's. Get stronger, get fitter, and that's a
yeah.
work in progress always.
Gargi, if I might add here, one thing about the Jemima thing was, yes, Jemima was dehydrated and so was Perry. So I think it is
Yeah,
more to do with the Mumbai weather than to do with the fitness because Perry cannot be unfit. Perry can
yeah.
be anything but unfit. So that part, I think that's one part. But I will contradict a little with Joydipda. I think um, this Indian team has been there for quite a few years. Just because it's women's cricket, we keep cutting them a little slack, I feel, by saying that, oh, you know what, in future we'll do better. Yes, there are some debutants coming in, I agree, but that will always happen. There will be one or two fresh faces, but most of them are actually not fresh faces. Amol sir is, of course. So overall, I feel, yes, there is an area where we can work on when it comes to fitness, but the other part also I feel is there are a lot of question marks in the team even now, and that happens, Gargi, I completely agree with you, due to the lack of international series. They are playing throughout the year. When it comes to domestic, now there's WPL, so they're playing throughout the year, so match practice is there, but international series is still lacking, and that's why there are still questions on who will open now that Shafali has been dropped. Will it be Smriti, Yastika, both left-handers? um, at number 3, who should it be? Because as we can see, Amol sir probably is trying out Richa as well. So these things, when you need to try people out, we have seen with Rahul Dravid and Rohit Sharma, they kept trying different combinations till they reached a combination when it came to the World Cup. And that's why you need those bilateral series, which I don't think the Indian team has right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
So
you
the reason, yeah, Trisha, go on.
can't hear you. Yes, Joydeep, go on.
Yeah, so the reason I said what I said is because I see a little curve in Indian women's cricket right now with them beating England and Australia in a test match and then competing in the one day series in the white ball series with England. So I know what Trisha is saying is the history of what's happened. But last year, when they won the T20 match after the Super Over, they were rejoicing and they lost the series 3-1. But if you see the rejoice, so I understand what Trisha is saying. But I also see an upsurge because of what they've done in the test matches back to back, how they've played the white ball. Now, beating Australia consistently will not happen overnight. They're a different league. Okay, just like the West Indies was in the 70s in the men's team, the Australians were in the 90s. In 2003, we lost the World Cup final in South Africa. That Australian team would win every World Cup that level, no matter who was the opponent in which era. So when you come across, so I just feel the upsurge because I feel the Deeptis, the Jemima, the somebody like Smriti, been around, this, Harmanpreet, they and also the younger players coming. I'm a huge fan of Pooja Vastak. I mean, how good is she? How good is
Yes.
she as a cricketer? I mean, she's like an Hardik Pandya for me. Batting at number 8, I'd be batting at number 6. She's telling everybody, and you take my word, she will be a number 6 in no time because that's how you start. Ravi Shastri started at 9, opened 50 test matches for India. So you know that you make your way up like that. It's not a problem. W. Raman started at number 9, open for India. So I think this upsurge of the WPL happening and them beating England and Australia in a test match and competing in the white ball, it's all working in the right direction, the energy for it to go to the next level.
Yes, absolutely. And before we wind down, uh, now it looks like India has found its footing when it comes to the batting lineup. Getting those runs, those big runs, is now something India can finally do. And with Smriti Mandhana coming back into this match, what are your predictions? Starting with you, Trisha.
Well, I think having Smriti Mandana back is a big confidence booster. Supremely confident, and loves scoring against tough teams. Wankhede is her home ground, so she will be confident. And if you see the last innings that she played, in fact, the last match that she played against this Australian attack itself, she has scored, so she will carry that confidence. So overall,
No bowler got
and
her out,
sorry,
Trisha. No bowler got her out. She got 125 odd runs, and no bowler got
exactly,
her out because first innings run out, second innings not out.
Yeah.
exactly. And also you have to see who is she replacing. Again, Shafali, fantastic talent, but that talent really hasn't been, hasn't turned into match innings as we had expected.
Yeah.
So with her replacing Shafali, with Yastika coming back from 49, I think overall it does look like India will be very confident when they come out chasing. And at times I feel when you are facing big sides like Australia, England, maybe, just maybe, knowing the target is easier.
Yeah.
And also, just on Shefali, I think it's good, she's had a break because you don't have a privilege here. No place is yours. Look at
Yes,
Yastika Bhatia. She only got in, she doesn't play regularly. She plays at different positions. She only got in because Smriti was indisposed. And look what she did. This is how you grab your chances. And Shefali will sit and say, look what Yastika has done. She's taken my place. She got one knock and she's taken my place away.
Yep. And Australia has won the toss and chosen to bat first. Ishan, your predictions?
Yeah, it's going to be a great game. And talking about Smriti first, I think I have to mention that I saw her in the test match as well. And she looked really good. Some of those cover drives seem so elegant. So I think we're hoping that she can possibly, perform the same way today as well. And Australia batting first. Now I think the Indians will have a lot of pressure because we all know what they can do. So I think the goal will be get those wickets and make sure, they don't get those big partnerships going for them as well. Because if we let that happen, we saw it in the last game as well. It's very difficult to restrict them and stop them. So get them around 240 to 50, and I think we'll be in a good position to chase that down.
And
Absolutely.
India will have to field 50 overs in the heat of Mumbai and then go
Yeah.
and bat
Yeah.
and chase the big total.
yes,
So,
yes.
It's going to be difficult. It's going to be an uphill
Also,
challenge.
sorry,
Yeah.
guys, there's one more point. I think the strip that we are using today, the square
Mhm.
boundaries are shorter, so that also we have
Oh,
to be careful about, when we are bowling. The other part I wanted to add, Ishan, whenever a left-handed batter plays a cover drive, it's just class.
Yeah, absolutely.
yes,
I,
absolutely. And no more points to add? We're on.
Prediction. Why don't we ask Joydeep that to predict? Why? What does he feel that in would be a safe total for India to kind of chase?
I think about 250. I think
Oh,
anything above 250 with the heat. My pick is Australia for this game. I picked Australia last game also. because I think they're a very, very strong side. But I want India to win. And I feel if it's beyond 250 to field in this heat for 50 overs, come out and bat, and then earn every run on the field. No freebies. You can't push it to left of cover and take up a single because you get run out. So you field in 50 overs, 60% of your battery is down. With 40%, you're trying to beat Australia. So anything above 250 will be an uphill task.
Absolutely. And before we go, I have two questions from one of our viewers. He's talking about, shouldn't we play in low, slow, and turning tracks? Because pitches in T20 Bangladesh would be like that. Joydeep, why don't you take this one?
Yeah, I don't think the pitches will be like that. I think the pitch will be really good, but I would want to play on slightly slow wickets, which suit India more. But in a way, I see the bigger picture, and I see maybe India is waiting for getting ready for what pitches are going to be their international cricket. They don't just want to win a home series and then not do well outside. We
Yeah.
want to win everywhere. We want to get better. So if to lose 4, 5 games doesn't matter as long as you're making progress. See, we got runs. We put runs on the board against Australia. That's a statement. They had to work hard for that win. It wasn't on a platter. Before they would just show up and win. They lost a test match. I saw Elisa Healy down, fuming. The team was head down. At least we've
Yeah.
been successful. This is how you make little strides and then ultimately reach your goal.
Absolutely. One other question, Trisha, why don't you take this one? WPL pitches are usually extremely batting friendly. Will that impact India's T20 World Cup preparation? How to win on pitches like those in Bangladesh?
I
Have you-
think in Asian, the Asian conditions are pretty similar. It's not like you will not get no turning tracks in India as well. You will always get that assist. It will always assist the spinners. In Bangladesh, I think if we need to prepare for Bangladesh, yes. Of course, turning tracks are something that we will prepare on, but also Gargi, in domestic we have faced turning tracks. Our domestics are played in turning tracks, so I don't think Bangladesh will be that huge a problem. When I think we don't need to be so concerned because we play in very similar conditions. WPL, yes, it'll be batting friendly. I mean, come on, T20 franchisee tournament, you want to see the fours and sixes.
And also in
Absolutely.
T20 World Cup, it's a 40-over game. So how much will the ball turn? It's not a
Exactly.
100-over game. It's a
Exactly.
it's a new Kookaburra ball only for 20 overs. So I don't think it'll turn a lot. I think it'll be a little slower because it's black soil compared to red soil. So the wickets in Kolkata are black soil. We played Eden Gardens on black soil. So it'll be a little slower, maybe lower the bounce compared to a Wankhede. But I don't think it'll turn.
Yeah. So the game has started and we'll say our goodbyes. Till then, stay tuned to Ref Sports.